So after 3 years, Chisos Boots is back on the channel, so I'm gonna break down the details of this boot, including its updates, put it to work to see how it holds up, and give you my final thoughts. Let's get into it.
I'm just here to connect ya, and then I'll be on my way.
Hey everybody, my name is Jeremiah Craig and I'm coming at you from the live room at Well Said Media here in Ithaca, New York. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. Will Roman, owner of Chisos Boots, reached out to me looking for ways to support this channel. And he made some updates to his boots that he first released back in 2019. I did a video on them in 2020. This time, I'm reviewing the Chisos No. 2. The first time around, I did the Chisos No. 1. So we have to break down the details of this boot, including the changes with the rundown. All right, this is Chisos Boots model number 2, and this is Chisos Heritage Leather, which is dairy cow leather. A little bit different from other boot companies out there, but it feels great. I remember the No. 1 is awesome, and it just kept getting softer and softer. No changes in the leather, so I'm really looking forward to breaking this boot in. I just love the look of the brush brown color and the fact that you can also see some of the imperfections in the leather due to its coloring as well. It is a natural product, and I love to see those natural things come through. The Chisos No. 2 also features a narrow square toe. Love the look of this toe shape. It comes in at 11 inches tall, features some nice lacing in the pull tabs and some beautiful stitch patterns as well that are reminiscent of the cave paintings that are coming out of the Chisos Mountains out there in West Texas. And that brings us to our first update in 3 years for Chisos Boots, is that the top sizing stops at size 11, so it won't get any wider than this. And I did a circumference measurement and it comes in at 14.5. So any size higher than size 11, which is what this is going to still have a 14.5 circumference approximately. It doesn't change. Usually when boot makers make different boots, the top sizes change depending on the size of the boot. You know, it's proportional, but Chisos is keeping their tops a little bit more narrow for those higher sizes. Down here for a heel, we have a 1 5/8" stacked leather heel, which also includes Chisos' unique red line as well. For an outsole, it's a leather outsole, and it's on there with a Goodyear welt. You can also see some lemonwood pegs and brass nails alongside the shank here. And that brings us to the next 2 updates that Chisos made to their boots. You know, they had a problem with the shank squeaking early on. I never had a problem with that with my No. 1s over the past 3 years, but other people did. So what they did was they tried to wrap the shank in leather or cardboard, and what they decided to do was kind of scrap that idea altogether. So the shank is no longer wrapped in cardboard. Instead, they form the shank to the last itself and kind of give it that curve right from the get-go. Apparently, it's been fixed altogether, but we'll have to see during the extended test. So the 2 updates had to do with the shank. It's no longer wrapped in cardboard, and it's now form-shaped to the last itself. On the inside, it's lined with cowhide, dyed red. It looks beautiful. And for an insole, again, it's Chisos' famous removable insole. They haven't made any changes to this. It is one of the most unique feeling insoles on the marketplace in my experience. You know, it not only provides you with a lot of cushion, but it also gives you a bunch of support too. And then under that, you have a traditional hard leather insole. So these are made traditionally. Chisos boots are made in Mexico, and they're coming in at $545 at chisos.com. Now it's time to try on this boot to see how it looks and feels. All right, I got on the Chisos No. 2 right now in the brush brown color, and it looks spectacular, huh? Man, I love the insole in this boot. Very, very supportive, and also gives you a lot of cushion. The one thing that I wish Chisos had though was narrow width sizes. So this is an 11D, which is my go-to size when companies don't have B widths, because my true size is a 12B, as many of you know. That's the kind of issue that I had with the number 1 because it had a round toe and it squeezed my toes up in the toe box a little bit. And the thing that I like about this number 2 with the narrow square toe is that I have a little bit more room for my toes. So if you have a narrow foot and you want to try Chisos boots because you're kind of scared that they might, crunch your toes in the toe box, then the number 2 might be a good way to go with that narrow square toe because I do have a nice bit of wiggle room there for my toes, even though these aren't my exact size. The other thing to remember is that you feel a lot taller in these boots because that insole is so thick. I believe I measured it the other day and it came in at like 3/4 of an inch, or if not an inch completely. So that on top of the 1 5/8 inch heel, I'm like more than 2 inches taller than what I would be just standing on the ground. So if you're a shorter guy and you're looking for a high quality boot that gives you, a little bit extra boost, but don't want to show the world that you're really going for that boost, the boost is on the inside. Like 1/3 of the boost is on the inside of this boot that you're not showing to the world. So you get a good bit of support, but you also get a nice boost too. Let me pull over those pants so you can see what they look like just wearing them normal. Man, these look really cool. I like the narrow square toe here. I like the suppleness of the dairy cow leather. It's very supple. It works great. It works in great, guys. So these boots break in incredible. They just keep getting softer and softer and softer. So I'm really looking forward to breaking this boot in again. This is the number 2. I first broke in the number 1. So I'm really looking forward to break this in. Let me give you the POV. All right, here's the POV. You can see that square toe, beautiful brush brown color, nice natural sole and heel look. It all comes together very well. What do you guys think of this look? Do you like this toe shape better, or the number 1 toe shape better, the round toe, or maybe the number 5? That number 5 looks awesome with the snip toe, huh? It looks pretty good though. All right, now it's time to wear these around, maybe do some work in them to see how they break in and hold up. It's extended test time.
The Chisos slogan is "Do right, love Texas." I'm not in Texas, but that doesn't mean that I can't do right in the community. So to kick off this extended test, I'm volunteering for the Cornell Cooperative Extension Community Beautification to remove some of the plants that can't survive the winter. Mainly these canna plants. So let's grab the fork, pop those plants out of the ground, shake a little dirt off, and add them to the pile. It's simple work, but good for a boot break-in. The community beautification has garden beds like these all over Ithaca, and they do lots of work to keep this small city looking incredible. Soon we had all the canna plants out of the ground and started cutting off the tops of the plants to save the roots. These roots will go into dry storage over the winter and then be replanted in the spring. Once the roots are loaded up, we picked a few weeds and cleaned up the plants that we had cut from the roots. A quick sweeping to finish the cleanup, load it up into buckets and haul it away. And that'll do it for this garden bed at what is called the Sign Triangle here in Ithaca. The next stop on my Do Right tour around Ithaca is Route 13 with my Rotary Club. Twice a year, we do a highway cleanup and pick up the litter alongside this heavily trafficked area. We find some weird things too, like I don't even know what this is, but somebody threw it away. And I found these balloons in a tree. I really hope this was after a party and some kid didn't lose their balloons at the beginning of their special day. Either way, they had to come down. It's estimated that there are over 2,000 pieces of litter every mile on highways across America, and over the past 10 years, litter has gone down 54%, but there's still too much litter, and it really shows here on Route 13. So do your part and just don't litter. After about 2 hours of garbage cleanup, it started raining, so we tied up our final bags and went home to dry off. But there's one more stop on this community do-right tour, and that's at local thrift store Reuse. Reuse receives a ton of community donations to sell in their store, but they've had trouble sorting all of the items, so they teamed up with my Rotary Club, and we volunteer our time to help sort items, and we get a portion of those sales for fundraising efforts locally and abroad. It's not only doing good, but it's a good time too. Here's how it works. You pick out an item, like this bread machine, you clean it up a little, then search eBay for the item in the sold items category to see what similar items are going for. Head over to the computer to enter in the item in the inventory and print off a price sticker. Stick that baby on there and load it up to be put on the shelves. In 11 sorting dates, Ithaca Rotarians have totaled 169 hours volunteered and have sorted and priced 6,500 items for a total of $10,000 in estimated sales. That's a lot of funds raised to do right in the community.
I'm back from the extended test and wearing these Chisos No. 2 boots on and off for the last 2 months, so let's clean them up a little bit. I got the dirt off, brushed them down a little bit, used the Chisos leather balm, buffed it up a little bit, and they look really nice. Now it's time for my final thoughts for this Chisos boot No. 2. The Chisos No. 2 felt great, especially when sorting things at the Reuse thrift store on that hard floor. You know, I've done that before in some other boots, and my feet killed at the end of the day. So I was really thankful for the supportive insole in here that has that extra cushion. I didn't feel any foot pain at all with this Chisos boot at any moment when I was wearing it. But as far as the updates are concerned, I did have an issue with these boots squeaking. The adjustments to the shank in here weren't enough, and pressure from wearing these boots would cause this shank to shift slightly inside, which would cause it to squeak. This lasted about 2 to 3 weeks until I started doing some extended test work. And then from using these boots in that garden situation with the fork and also picking up garbage, after these got wet, the boots seemed to settle in a little bit and that squeaking went away. So should new boots squeak right out of the box? I don't think so, but the boots do settle in and that squeaking did disappear after 2 to 3 weeks. So if your boots are squeaking, maybe it's just a good excuse to put them to work. The red dye in the lining and on top of the insole does bleed still, just like the first model did for me, and my socks did get red from it. You can see here that the insole is losing color. That color bleeds onto socks. As I mentioned while trying on these boots earlier in this video, the square toe of this boot gives my toes a little bit more space, which is important for me because I'm a true 12B. Chisos doesn't make B widths, so I had to go with a D width. And the problem with doing that with a round toe is that my foot is longer than what the boot is meant for, so it kind of squishes up my toes a little bit. This is different because the toe box is a little bit wider, so I was able to get a little bit more room in the toe box. I like the toe shape of the number 1 better, so hopefully in the future they will release B widths because I would love to rock the number 1 in a brush brown or a rough out and not have my toes crunched up at the end. But the square toe allowed me to cheat and still be comfortable. I'm still a huge fan of the dairy cow leather. It was really soft, it broke in great, and I love the insole. It is so unique feeling. It is unlike anything else on the marketplace, and I think that's the real value that you get with Chisos. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Share your thoughts about this Chisos No. 2 boot, whether you've tried them or not, your impressions of this video. Thank you so much for watching today. Huge shout out to Chisos for sponsoring this video and supporting my channel. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here, and I'll see you around. Peace.
Chisos boots have the most comfortable insole and a great leather, plus they're looking so bold.
Thank you so much for watching today. Why don't you check out this other Chisos Boots video up here? Or I got a music video down here I think you might enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe up here, and I will see you next time. Peace. Have a good one.